So I've been writing my first blog post while out on the hike, which has been fun. Hopefully that'll get published same time I upload this video, and I'll share a link to it in the description of this video. But basically it just talks all about my expectations and just how unrealistic my expectations were the first time starting the hike when I was at Cape Jarvis, and just some of the changes I'm making this time around to have a bit more of an enjoyable hike and be a bit more realistic with myself. So a couple of the things that affect you watching these videos is I'm being a bit more laid back about filming. So if I am just too tired or really pushing to make it to camp and set up camp and everything, so that I don't really feel like filming, then I haven't been, which then for you just means it's going to be a lot more scattered in terms of some days we'll have heaps of footage, some days there isn't much, and the amount of information I give to you is going to vary a bit. So that's just a bit of an update on things for you to expect as I kind of manage my mental health and my expectations while doing this solo hike. Day 5 come to close and get to stay at a lovely hut, which I'm very happy about. Haven't updated the past couple days. Just been enjoying my time. Had my sister and brother-in-law over, and they've joined me for yesterday, today, and then tomorrow they'll join me for the day, and then their car's there. So that's been really lovely to hike with people, very different than hiking solo. And yeah, the walking's just been
really great. Lots of walking along dry creek beds, which is really cool. Can't think of many places in the world where you can have a hike that's most popular in the winter, where they just say, yeah, just follow the creek bed for 2 days. And bit cloudy, so I don't think I'm going to get my spectacular sunset or star footage, which I'm still really holding out hope for at some point, getting some good star photography in. But apart from that, I think it's time for dinner. Well, another day done, and just in time to cook dinner before it gets really, really dark. It's currently 6 o'clock on day 7, so I haven't done check-ins like this for a couple days, and have been fairly inconsistent, partly due to just enjoying my time and not really thinking about it, and partly due to like my energy levels at the end of the day being pretty low. Past 2 days have been a really good example of the most interesting and spectacular and the least spectacular of the Heysen Trail right next to each other. Managed to get over one ridge that just, like, the whole way you've got a couple of kilometers of stunning view over everything. Really amazing, kind of just around Hawker area. And then today was pretty much just flat road, pounding out the kilometers. Decided to go further, so I ended up doing 36 kilometers today, which is a lot, but I'm glad I got that out of the way so that I can do Mount Arden tomorrow. And yeah, really looking forward to that one. Going to be another big day because you've got a mountain to climb, but that's all part of the fun of the trail. Time for some dinner.
So, fun development while messing about with the camera and filming and all of that. I missed the sign and kept following a fence line where I should have crossed over and kept going. So, really good example of why you should always have at least one map with you and know how to read it. In my case, I've got one on my phone, which also tells me exactly where I am through the GPS. And then as a backup in my pocket, I've got the paper map. So that then, when you do realize you've gotten off track, like I have, instead of having to just backtrack to the track, I've turned this into a nice navigation exercise and off-track adventure to go a bit of a diagonal route and meet up again with the track a bit later. So hopefully I can manage to do that without annoying any property owners or getting too much more lost. Well, as much as it's slightly disappointing and a bit embarrassing that I lost the trail, I've got to say it's actually been really fun getting out the map and checking out the features, figuring out which route I need to go, which is going to be the easiest walking, all that stuff, compared to just looking for the next marker. I'm starting to think I might need to plan some off-track bits in the next few days. Just keep my skills up. Well, back on track just in time for lunch. Definitely cost me a bit of time, but I had fun. I've still got time to reach camp. Just may not get quite as much time hanging out at the top of Mount Arden. Well, it's currently day 10, making my way into Quorn fairly early in the morning, and gee, yesterday was a weird day. So for most of the day it was just really hard work, quite a slog. Just a lot of creek bed walking, only unlike previous creek walking where you're talking about a wide flat riverbed with nice soft gravel to tread. This is more like windy, sometimes steep creek bed with just heaps of loose rocks, so you have to pay attention to every single step you take, which is just draining, and then kind of gets really hard on your muscles and your joints. And to be honest, it was kind of the first day where I was genuinely thinking, do I really want to keep doing this for another 20 days? Maybe I should just call it quits. I'm kind of in a real down mood about it all. And then started raining for a bit, just enough to make the rocks all slippery, which didn't help right at the end. But then spent the last kind of half hour or so on a road, and then there was this beautifully clear rainbow, and one end looked like it was going straight into the hut where I was going to be staying, which was quite a nice touch. Then I get there, discover two people from the Adelaide Bushwalking Club, and there's a group of about 15 that are going to be staying there, and then they end up inviting me to the pub for dinner. So then I end up with some nice company, a really nice hot meal, and just ends up turning out to be a really good night overall. So yeah, lots of ups and downs yesterday, but ended on a positive, which is really a blessing. Plan is to head in, do the resupply as quickly as I can, then hopefully find a cafe or a bakery with something nice and warm and fresh, and then keep going. Now, the other thing I'm going to have to do once I'm in Quorn is just stretch out my left leg a bit and just check it out, because it's been playing up a bit yesterday and then just starting to feel it again today, just like a general soreness, tightness in like the back of the muscle. And yesterday, like even going to bed, it was a bit achy. So at this stage, it doesn't seem like anything that's really stopping me or slowing me down, but I'm just conscious of the fact that I'm about to be out away from vehicle access again, and with a nice fresh memory of what walking 3 kilometers with a dodgy ankle was like. I don't really want to put myself in a position where I'm then needing to hobble along for 15, 20 Ks just to reach a good road spot with a bad hip or just leg in general. So we'll see how we go, but the main thing I'm looking forward to is hopefully finding a bakery or even some scones. Well, what a day it has been. So as I kept going along to Quorn, the pain in the back of my leg around my hip kind of extended out, and the back of my knee was really sore, which may or may not even be connected. So with the backpackers and other rooms all booked out in Quorn, which I discovered is because Stan is filming an episode of this show, which was a bit interesting to see the film crews wandering around. But anyway, I did manage to get a tent spot at the Quorn Caravan Park, so I'm all set up. It is very lovely. So I've decided to give it a bit of time, have a bit more of an easy day, stay in Quorn, rest up as much as I can, and then see what
what happens tomorrow. Some of my thought process is it feels a bit like a pinched nerve, and it's more kind of a sharp pain than like a direct strain or anything, which means I'm not really sure like how to strap it or how to treat it. At the moment, it isn't physically stopping me from using my full range of motion. So even though it hurts every time I take a step, which is annoying, it's not physically blocking my capability to keep doing the trail. But I'm also just conscious of the fact that at the moment I'm in a town which gives me lovely vehicle access. I can figure out a bus or a taxi or get a lift with somebody, or even just hitchhike to get back to Adelaide really easy, whereas that all gets a lot more difficult the next couple days as I head back out into more remote areas, and then I really don't want to be in a situation where I'm having to hike a long distance to be able to get to a road with a really painfully sore leg, which is not great. At the moment, it's not that big a deal, but also like the feet are getting really sore at the bottom, like even when I'm not on them and putting weight on the feet, there's a bit of a dull ache. So yeah, I'm kind of conscious of the fact that at the moment I could keep pushing on, and I really don't want to give up partway through when I'm physically capable of still going. But I'm also conscious that my job involves more hiking and more outdoor activities, and I really don't want to finish the trail so sore and injured that I can't go back to work the next week, because that would also suck. So yeah, for now I'm just gonna take it easy. There's quite a few kilometers along a road tomorrow before I kind of get a bit more wildernessy, so I can make a decision then depending on whether it's feeling better or worse or about the same. And there's today's update.